Hello, Margaret. Please tell us what the UN Secretary General says about the conflict in Sudan, and has he made any progress on a ceasefire?
Well, he just moments ago came before the cameras at UN headquarters, Esther. He had a meeting this morning by telephone, a virtual meeting with the heads of the Arab League, the African Union, IGAD, and representatives from the European Union and several other countries that are influential in Sudan. They agreed, they condemned the fighting, and they're calling for an immediate cessation of hostilities. For his part, the Secretary General made a personal appeal for a 3-day ceasefire to cover the Eid al-Fitr holiday, which is about to start imminently in Sudan and the rest of the Muslim world. He said it's vital for people to be able to get food and to get medical attention, to get out of harm's way. Many civilians are trying to escape the fighting, particularly in the capital. He hopes that a temporary ceasefire could lead to a permanent one, and that could lead to talks. And he said it's absolutely vital that Sudan get back on track to the civilian transition and appoint a civilian-led government. So he said he's going to be putting the full force of his good offices behind this effort, but no concrete ceasefire yet.
Margaret, do we know if UN agencies are still operating in Sudan, even though the fighting continues?
Well, Antonio Gutierrez just said it is absolutely virtually impossible for aid operations to go on. And he also made an appeal for the parties to stop targeting humanitarian workers. We've seen 3 World Food Program staff members killed over the weekend. 2 were injured in Darfur. The UN's humanitarian air service has airplanes that deliver aid across Sudan. They've all been grounded, and one of the planes has been damaged, I believe, beyond repair at Khartoum Airport. The WFP has also had 10 vehicles stolen, 6 food trucks stolen, and 4,000 tons of food stolen from its warehouse in Niala in Darfur. So it's a really tragic situation, because even before the fighting erupted, there were nearly 16 million people in need of humanitarian assistance in Sudan. So this is just going to further complicate efforts and deprive a lot of people who are really in need of assistance from getting it.
What about the hospitals?
Right. Well, we heard a little bit of that in Krista's report. The Sudan Ministry of Health updated today. They said now 20 hospitals have been closed. I heard about 9 yesterday had been closed in Khartoum, the rest elsewhere. The UN said yesterday that 16 more were in jeopardy of closing, and it's due to the fighting and security, staff shortages, and supply shortages. In fact, there was a big appeal for blood. So it's a big problem. Dr. Tedros, who heads the World Health Organization, he spoke to reporters today also. He said there are more than 330 people dead now, more than 3,200 wounded. He also pointed to these attacks on healthcare facilities. And the UN has warned that Sudan's health system could collapse if things continue in this direction.
Does the UN, right.
Sorry.
Does the UN have any reports of people fleeing Sudan?
Yes, the UN Refugee Agency said today that between 10 and 20,000 people have already fled into Chad. As you know, in eastern Chad, there are already more than 400,000 Sudanese who are refugees there. So this is putting stress on an already stretched resources. So it's a complicated situation all around, Esther.